All right, let's dive right in. Today, we are breaking down one of the absolute hottest careers out there. If you've ever wondered how people take just a mountain of raw data and somehow turn it into smart decisions, well, you're in exactly the right place. We're laying out the complete step-by-step roadmap to becoming a data scientist in 2025. So let's just start with a number that's almost impossible to wrap your head around. Every single second, humanity creates 2.5 quintillion bytes of data. Think about that. It's every photo you upload, every item you add to your cart, every single tap on your phone. It is a constant, massive digital avalanche. And that's the billion-dollar question, isn't it? All that raw data is basically just noise. It's meaningless until someone somewhere can find the pattern, the story that's hiding inside all that chaos. And solving that puzzle is what created this entire profession. And that's exactly where they come in. A data scientist wades into that digital storm and does one absolutely critical thing. They turn all that messy data into clear, actionable decisions. You can think of them as the true detectives of the digital world, finding the crucial clues that everyone else just scrolls right past. So here's our game plan for today. First, we're going to define who this digital detective really is. Then we'll get into why you'd even want to join the quest. The main event will be your step-by-step roadmap. And we'll wrap up by looking at how you can be a part of shaping the future. Okay, so let's start with the absolute basics. Who is this so-called digital detective? What do they actually do all day? At its heart, a data scientist uses this really powerful trio of skills: statistics, coding, and machine learning to answer really tough questions. They're using statistics to figure out why sales suddenly dipped last quarter, they're using programming to analyze millions of customer reviews, and they're using machine learning to predict what you're probably going to want to buy next. So now that we know what the job is, let's talk about why it's become one of the most desirable career paths on the planet. I mean, the rewards are huge, not just in your bank account, but in the sheer number of opportunities out there. And yeah, let's talk about the numbers, because they definitely tell a story. Right out of the gate, an entry-level salary is already hovering around $90,000. But once you get some experience under your belt, that number can skyrocket past $175,000. It's a field that really, really rewards expertise. And it isn't just about the paycheck. It's about the demand. The number of data science jobs has just exploded, growing by over 350% in just the past 5 years. That's just wild. It means you've got incredible job security and a field that's wide open for the taking. Okay, so the why is pretty clear. But what about the how? This is really the heart of our explainer today. Let's get into the practical, nuts and bolts roadmap to actually becoming a data scientist. We've broken this whole journey down into 3 big, manageable phases. You got to start by building your foundation. That means learning the core tools. Then you move on to applying those skills, which is all about solving real problems and building stuff. And finally, you launch your career by packaging it all up so you can show the world what you can do. Phase 1 is all about learning the 2 languages the data speaks. First up is Python. It is the undisputed king of data science, period. It has this incredible ecosystem of tools built around it. Second is SQL, which is the universal language for talking to databases. You've got to know it to pull out the information you need. And inside of Python, this is your starter toolkit. You'll be using NumPy and Pandas for all the dirty work, taking messy, raw data and wrestling it into shape. Then you'll use Matplotlib and Seaborn to make that data come alive with charts and graphs. And finally, scikit-learn, that's your powerhouse for building predictive models. You'll be using these pretty much every single day. Now, don't get spooked, but behind all that code is the engine, math. You don't have to be a math genius, but you do need to get the why behind what's happening. Linear algebra helps you handle huge data sets. Calculus is what lets your models learn and improve. And probability and stats, well, that's the bedrock for making sense of it all. Okay, once that foundation is solid, it's time for phase 2. And this is where the real fun starts. You're going to move from just learning theory to actually doing things, analyzing data, building models, and creating your own projects. And this might be the biggest shock for anyone new to the field. A data scientist can spend up to 70% of their time just cleaning, organizing, and visualizing the data. The glamorous part, building the cool machine learning models, is often just a small piece of the pie. Seriously, getting the data right is everything.
Which brings us to a super important point. Your job isn't just to run algorithms. It's to find the story that's hiding in the numbers and then tell that story to the people who need to make big decisions. You're the bridge, the essential translator between the tech and the business.
And, of course, machine learning is a huge part of your toolbox. You'll mainly focus on two types. You've got supervised learning, which is kind of like teaching a computer with an answer key. Think predicting a house price based on 1,000 other house sales. And then there's unsupervised learning, where you just give the computer a pile of data and say, find the hidden patterns here, like automatically grouping your customers into different segments. The last phase is all about taking everything you've worked so hard to learn and actually turning it into a career. This means proving your skills, building a portfolio that shines, and getting ready to hit the job market. You know, certifications from the big names like Google, Microsoft, and IBM are a fantastic way to prove you know your stuff. They're basically a stamp of approval that tells employers you have a solid grasp of the field, and that can be a massive advantage, especially when you're just starting out. So you follow the map, you've built the skills, and you're ready. Where does this path actually take you? What kind of impact are we talking about here? The short answer is everywhere. This is not just a tech industry job anymore. I mean, look at this list. You've got the tech giants, sure, but you've also got Wall Street with JP Morgan and even space exploration with NASA. The truth is, every single modern industry, from healthcare to entertainment, now runs on data, and they are all desperate for people who can make sense of it. And this right here is the ultimate point. Chasing a career in data science isn't just about getting a good job with a good salary. It's about putting yourself at the very center of how our world is going to make decisions from now on. You're literally helping to shape the future of intelligence itself. So the path is laid out for you. The tools are there, the jobs are there, and the potential for impact is absolutely massive. The only real question left to ask is, what story are you going to tell with data?